Now, Nokia has just shocked the world with its new logo. What can you learn from this as a logo designer? Now, they literally haven't changed their logo for 60 years. They've had that same blue logo. This one right here, you know, it's bold. It's great because it's a custom type design. You know, it's solid, it's blocky, and it just works, right? It's simple, and a logo should be simple and memorable. So that was their logo, but it went through a rebrand, and one of the studios that did it was called lippincott.com. You can check out their website, but I'm on there. So Nokia wanted to transition from just like phones, and because obviously like Apple owns most of the market and Samsung now, and so Nokia is not really in the phone game. They're more transitioning to like B2B and like being a network, right? And so here's the new logo that they announced. You can see there, and like a logo doesn't, just because you Photoshop an image and slap a logo on it, doesn't make the logo good, right? And so you can see here, you know, there's some animations and some images and something cool like that, but there are a few issues with the logo. I didn't like it at first. Like, I love the colors and the gradients. Like, you know, when I see gradients, it's like fresh, fun, that blue and green, that looks really good. But overall, I thought that the logo was really, you know, lacking that character, and it was causing a big problem. Now, one of the major issues that I noticed is the legibility between the N and the K. So we can look at the logo. It's hard to tell, you know, if it's, you know, what type of letter that is. You can't even tell which letter it is. You might think it's like Nokia, and the K is hard to tell as well. So it's a big red flag when it comes to legibility. Now, I want to share a story that's related to this and what happened to the car brand Kia and what happened with their logo. So Kia had this nice oval circular logo with just simple text, and it was really bold and simple. And what they did is they changed it to this logo up here. You can see on their website they still had the KIA, but they connected the letters. It looks, you know, more edgy, more futuristic. But what tended to happen was people didn't recognize it as Kia anymore. They thought it was a K and an N. They can't recognize the I. Major legibility issues, right? And so this guy on Twitter pointing out that at least 30K searches a month on Google was people searching up KN car or KN logo. As you can see, look right here, KN car, and you can see the trend right there. And for example, I searched it up myself, so you can see KN car, and you can see in 2021 when they launched the rebrand, look at the search terms just went through the roof like crazy, right? Because of that logo change. You always have to make sure that you make the right decisions when it comes to a logo design, because it can impact your brand and it can impact how your audience actually, you know, reads the brand. So readability and legibility are essential. So we'll quickly go on Instagram, and I'll show you what the audience feels like, because you need to really listen to the audience. And apparently I was reading some of the comments and people were saying, I'm a proud Nokian. So it seems like there's some cult around it. So, you know, diehard Nokia fans. I remember back in the day, I used to own a Nokia phone. It was one of those like flip phones, like it said Motorola on it. And like, it was obviously not intuitive. It didn't have a touch screen. It was just like a flip phone. And that was like back in the 90s or the 2000s when I was like in primary school. But I think my first phone was a Sony Ericsson. Now that was pretty good. But then the flip phones came out, Nokia was popular. But anyway, we all know Nokia is not as popular anymore. And that's why they're trying to save themselves by going into sort of the corporate networking type of space instead and getting rid of phones, right? So let's solve the comments. The first one, you can see, upset to see this logo. Old logo is best. And it's got 119 likes. Some of these comments are just savage. People don't buy a logo, they buy Ford vans. True. I like the new logo, but not the color. Look, the thing is, you can't always please everyone, and we don't know the full strategy of the studio creating the logo, so we can just look at it from an outside perspective. Someone said, do not change the logo. Hell no. Very bad. Brand should be clear if it is an alphabet. Yep. Your last best phone. Not liking the logo personally. Looks like a cheap brand. Utterly awful design. So you can see, like, it's more negative than positive in my opinion. Obviously, they have that 1% of people that would love it. Some people are raging. The logo is bad, stupid. You know, so there's a lot of negative comments. So you can see, like, the animation is not even that cool either. It's just like it's like a sliding effect. It's not even, I don't know. But you know, the colors are cool. I love the gradients. Makes it feel modern. But like most tech companies just do gradients now anyway, right? So anyway, I thought I'd give a go and have a crack at sort of what I would have done to make it more legible, a bit more easier. And so I want to jump into Illustrator. And so this is the old logo here. You know, it doesn't need changing, but you know, maybe you just want to freshen it up. You know, sometimes a rebrand, you just want to retain most elements, but you want to sort of refresh. So I just quickly whipped this up. So I was playing around. This is a bolder version. I did a lighter version. I preferred the lighter version better. But I was using a font called Mont Blanc. You can actually get this font on Font Fabric. It's a great website for fonts, and it's a font foundry. They build all these custom typefaces, and they're just really great because they're flexible. They have a lot of font families, and it's well worth the price because you can actually use that for client projects, personal projects, and it's very flexible. And so for me, I use it on some of my projects. It's super great. And if you do want to get Mont Blanc, you can actually get it for 50% off. Just use my code Jeremy50 and you can get it for 50% off. Mont Blanc, it's super great. It's a modern sans serif font, and I think it works great for a lot of, the new type of brands that are coming out in today's age. So back to Illustrator, you can see here, I sort of customized this A and, I left the K. I didn't do much to this logo, right? So that's that. And you can see with these colors, I sort of brightened up the blue. So if you look at the old logo here, it's like sort of like a bit of a navy jean type of color, as you can see, but I've just sort of brightened that up, okay? Now here's the lighter version. I think I prefer this version. Using the same font, Mont Blanc, it's semi-bold. And what I did is, you can see this K came with a sort of crossbar like that. I customized it, and I just deleted this space and sort of, you can see that space there. So it gives like an edgy feel. It's sharp corners. I customized the A as well. I cut out the crossbar there. And then I was gonna like do some things with like, the letters and like adding sort of like a cut like that or something like that looks good. But in the end, I just kept it simple. And so I landed on this idea, just like that. That's what it looks like in blue, and that's what it looks like with the gradient and the white. And I think it looks pretty lit, pretty good, just from playing around for like 5-10 minutes. But you can see the power of just keeping a logo simple, and we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just sort of using a different font that's not as condensed. It's a bit lighter as well, and it can work, right? It's just simple sans serif font. And so that's my version of the logo. Let me know if you prefer my version or the old logo, or where's the other one? Oh yeah, or this one. I don't know, they look very different, but hey, let me know your thoughts about this new logo rebrand. Do you like the new Nokia logo? Do you think it's bad? Let me know in the comments below on your opinions. What should they have done in the first place when it comes to designing a logo? Now, I just want to remind you, as a logo designer, there's some things to keep in mind when you rebrand, and I think it's important to know before we finish. Number one is the purpose and values. What is the purpose of the brand, their new product offering, or their new service? What are their brand values? Are that their brand values changed over the last 10 years? Where are they going in the future? You also need to listen to the audience. What does the audience want? Is the audience changed? Is it a younger audience now? Is it an older audience? What does the audience want? What are their needs? And, the landscape is always changing, and you have to listen to their feedback and see where you should take the brand. Next is the brand heritage and equity. Sometimes, a brand color might have that brand equity, and people know a brand for that certain thing. Like, for example, Coca-Cola has that nice red color. You need to really ask yourself, is it something that's been there for a long time, and should we reuse it or retain that element? Next is competition. You need to look at what's out there. For example, for phones, there's like Google Pixel, you've got Samsung, you've got Oppo's, you've got Apple. The list just keeps going on and on. There's so many different phones out there, and they're all doing similar stuff. So it's like, what are you going to do to stand out amongst the market? And it looks like Nokia is jumping out of this market and going more into a different direction. And then lastly, you got to think about scalability and the color and the typography. Those are all important. Can it scale to small sizes? Is it great for phones and, iPads and websites? And so it has to work in multiple destinations, multiple platforms. And yeah, and the rest of it, being a designer, what works and what needs to be, apply those design principles. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought I'd do a quick video on it. But yeah, as I said, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this rebrand. Do you think it works? Do you think it does not? And let me know. If you want to watch a video on how I used AI to create a brand from scratch, then you can check out this video right here. Watch that and watch me use ChatGPT to craft a cool brand for a virtual reality headset.